To all our people who did a hell of a job, double thank you. I mean, that was a phenomenal crowd. I saw people sitting on people's laps. It was pretty good. I told you the other day that it was a team that could shoot a lot of threes. They shot 44 of them. And after doing a miserable job most of the first half, I thought we did a phenomenal job most of the second half. And under the 8-minute timeout, they got 66 points. They're 1 for 16 from the three. And then we let them hit games just so I could be miserable and not sleep tonight. So maybe I'm better that way. But I was disappointed in that. There were some positives. We got some guys sick. Carson Cooper's been sick. And although started the second half, after he went back in, he played a lot harder. And Cohen had a hell of a night, and if he just makes those free throws. We shoot free throws every night before a game. We shoot 12 to 15 minutes of straight free throws, one guy at each basket. And the goal is to shoot 90% as a team. We shot 93 last night, and he shot over 90 himself. And so if we make our free throws and just do a little better job defending, I'd probably feel a lot better. But 30 assists on 36 baskets, phenomenal. Only 12 turnovers in a game that went up and down like it did is phenomenal. After a poor job of getting out-rebounded the first half, we out-rebounded them by 13 in the second half, so that's phenomenal. We got some play out of Divine. I thought played a lot better. I thought Denham did a damn good job, 4 assists and a couple of steals. I thought Trey Fort played maybe his best game here. And we just got to get, this team's going to go as far as Carson Cooper and Jeremy doing their jobs. And their jobs are to guard somebody and push the ball, and in Jeremy's case, and to defend and rebound the ball in Coop's case. And in fairness to him, he was sick since he came back. In fact, it's been over a week. And so I guess I got to be understanding of that. But in all, if we don't have that barrage at the end, you win by 25 points. We're 26 up with 2:31 left. I think I'd feel a lot better about what we did. But, there's something about having a team down and being able to put your foot on their throat, as they say, and this team doesn't have that yet. So we're going to have to work on that tomorrow. But the good news is we did come out after halftime discussing what we did wrong, and I thought we did a lot of those things right the second half. Our defense was a lot better until, the little kid, number 10, he hit, I think, 3 or 4 threes himself late, and that was the difference. So if there's questions, I'll take them.
I'm wondering, in the end of that first half, the play that Jeremy made to kind of go the distance and finish that layup, that seemed like that was something we used to see with Mateen, where he would take it the distance. Was that second half kind of one of those, did that kind of lead to a second half takeover of control of the tempo for him?
Well, I thought he pushed it pretty good the first half, to be very honest with you. I thought that was the best job he did. We had meetings after meetings after meetings, him and I, this week, about pushing the ball more. And finally, I took 4 games and showed him the film of those 4 games. And I think, as they tell me, that young kids learn more from visual than they do from explaining. And I think he got it, and I think he did a good job. That was a nice play that John Borovich has. That's one of our end-of-game plays, and it worked to perfection, and Jeremy ran it to perfection. But, the rest of that half, hey, listen, I haven't said enough. I said about our fans, the second star might have been their team and their coach. I really enjoyed how physical they were. They got themselves in foul trouble, but for a team like that to come in here and they punked us the first half. They really did. And really did. And that was probably what I'm most disappointed about. So it'll make for some good practices the next couple of days, and we'll see if we can remedy that. But I think some of it was, Kerr and Coop were sick, and I guess that's a good excuse, but probably not for me.
Tom, for them to get 53 in the first half and out-rebound you by one, how much of that was them? How much of it maybe a lack of focus?
The saddest part, Jack, is my AD's here. I told him today we had like 4 really good practices. I mean, even my staff commented the guys came back focused. They came back wanting to play. We had 2-a-days. I mean, they were great. And then we rested, the day before and had one. And I mean, it was really good. So I thought we were really ready to play. I do got to give some credit to them. I want to give us blame, but I do got to give them credit because they were physical, flying around, making shots. But I don't think we took them for granted. We did a good job of telling them. I mean, when a team shoots, makes 14 threes a game. There's not many teams will play that makes 14, and they made 15 tonight. But they took 45 shots, too, to do it. So, no, I don't think it was lack of prep. Well, I know it wasn't lack of prep. I don't think it was players looking past them. I don't think they came back from Christmas out of shape or that. I feel really good about that with this team. I just feel like the attention to detail and on a couple of things that we had gone over a lot, but it was a different coverage. It'd be like a version of football playing a team with the wishbone, something you don't see very often, and all of a sudden, all of our principles we had to change because of the back cutting, and then they have I think it was 9 guys that shoot above 37% from the three. So we'll never face anybody that does that this year. We might face better teams, but we won't face that. So it was probably good for us. Those are kind of the NC tournament teams that you hit early rounds. I just was disappointed that, I'd like to leave the arena feeling good, especially when we're going to go to play Nebraska, who's probably going to be 13-0 for the first time in, I'm sure, the history of their school. So I'd like to feel a little better about it, but maybe I'm better not feeling better.
You could play a lot of different teams. I mean, you could play a team out of the MEAC or a low major in this game and have a kind of a friendly tune. Getting smacked in the face a little, is that, what's coming at Nebraska Friday is maybe their best team in 35 years. Is this game in a lot of ways, as much as it's not all fun, ideal scheduling, would you say, or not?
Ideal scheduling? I always get on KP, but, it's a good game for us because it's a team that plays completely different. Somewhere along the line, we're going to play another team. Nebraska plays some 5-out like them. They just don't have that many guys that can shoot it like that. But, no, I think it was good scheduling, But, God, when you give me a chance to blame my scheduler, I kind of like that. I'd like to use that. But, no, I don't think so. I think that this game will help us. It's just that now we got to figure out, we were going to move right on to Nebraska. I'm not moving on to Nebraska, so we're going to have an early morning meeting and film session and try to figure out what we didn't do well. We got to make sure we get everybody healthy. And it's going to be fun to go to Nebraska. You guys have been there. If you really look at the teams they've had, and they've had some good teams, but they've had some average teams. And that crowd is sensational. And everybody says, well, the students will be gone. It has no bearing, none. That is a unique place. Not because Larson's from there. It's just a unique place because I never forget, I went down to my first football game there with Nick Saban. And the night before, those people were so good to you and so kind. And they were so kind when they beat you 55-3 and walked you out of the stadium, hugged and kissed you. And it's a unique place. And now they're something that they haven't been in 35 years, you said, or whatever, maybe more, huh? When you were in the, let me see, like 5th grade, were they ever undefeated at 13-0 at one time?
No, they weren't undefeated.
No, I never knew that. So it'll be a big game, and I'm excited that I get to be a part of a big game like that, and I think we'll use this game to help us. But we got to get physically tougher. And but Coop, like you saw in the second half, all of a sudden he's going up and getting 5 offensive rebounds. What the reason, I don't know.
Tom, they have the longest winning streak in the country, talking about the Huskers. Besides getting Coop healthy, what do you want to improve in the next 3 days?
I want to guard somebody again on a regular basis. We're ranked 4th in the country in our defense, and I don't think some of these guys have been the same since we played Duke. I don't think we've been, now we're just going to outscore some people. And Carson Cooper and Jeremy Fears are very, very, very important in our defense because Coop can guard usually smaller guys. Struggled with that tonight, and usually any ball screen known to mankind. And we haven't been as good at that, so he has a value. I told him that after the game. He has a big value, and we have to get better because when you get dribble penetration, you get kickouts for threes. When you get dribble penetration, sometimes you don't rebound as good. We bounce back, but we were getting beat on the boards first half. So, I got a laundry list of things I want to get better at.
About this stretch, from finals week on, there were some points where you had some tests. Where is this team, you mentioned about getting better physically, where are they at mentally in terms of resiliency and the ability to have some bounce back to adversity?
Yeah. I love my team. I love my guys. I don't love my team yet. I told you what we were. I think we're a good team. Trying to be a great team. And then you move into the next level, and that's kind of where we are. We're probably a pretty damn good team right now. Some of the pluses that we were early in the year, we couldn't make a basket to save our lives, and now we shoot 47% from the 3. So we're shooting over 36% now from the 3. That's a big plus. We're still rebounding the ball well. I think Jeremy got the message that if he pushes the ball, we're a lot more. And they tried to take him away and even double him. And I thought he did a phenomenal job on that. Mentally, I don't know. I think everybody makes so much big deal about mentally. Mentally, just go play. Let's go play. And I'm really looking forward to getting a chance to go down there and play, and not like we haven't had some tests, because we have, and we've answered the bell. We'll see if we answer it this week, though. It's going to be, this isn't a midterm, this is a final exam, so we'll see how we do in the final exam.
I think after the Toledo game, you're going on basically 11 guys every single game now. And I think after the Toledo game, you said you're going to kind of evaluate how deep you're going to use that rotation. Now with the Big Ten schedule right in front of you, do you see yourself going that deep into your bench every single game moving forward?
Well, as far as what we do going into our bench, some of that depends on the players that are playing, For the most part, yes, I still see us playing. And we had a little illness tonight, but we haven't had any real injuries. Cam there for a little bit. He's starting to come back around. So I think we're going to be pretty well prepared that when one of those unfortunate injuries happen, even if it's for a couple of weeks, we're going to be in a good position to do something about it. So it's not easy as a coach. And Doug gets a lot of that on him. We talk about it. It's not easy to try to keep guys in there. But I think if we run like we ran tonight, even Jeremy has to come out once, and that's good. If we can do that. I did think we wore them down, and they missed all those shots in the second half. And then when they brought their subs in, they made them all, so give them credit. But that's a good team, man. That team will compete for a championship in that league, I really believe.
Coach, I think it was after the Duke game, you said there'd be a quarterback controversy, and then you changed the rotation to put Devine in the starting lineup and have Wojcik mostly playing backup point guard minutes. How would you evaluate that change in the lineup, both in the offense and the defensive standpoint?
I think it's worked out pretty good. Devine's playing a little bit better. He's getting a little hungrier. I give Trey, Devine, Jordan, Kerr, I give them all credit because they're, like Trey came back really good. You could be pouting, you're a senior, 50-year guy. I got none of that. as good a guys as you could have, and I got as good a guys pulling for one another as I could have. I mean, you should see those huddles. They're really good about that. So I joke about the quarterback controversy because that's what you guys want usually. You know, they got to have something to write about because it's boring to write about good stuff. So you got to have a controversy. But I don't have a controversy. I'm going to play the players that if somebody's sick or if somebody's not playing well and it's effort related, I'm going to play. It's pretty simple. And I've kind of been pleased how the players have handled that. And so kudos goes to them. It isn't about me or my staff. It's to them, and they understand it. And I think we'll keep growing from that. But the road gets a little tougher now because it goes every day, you know. And some of these teams now that I thought were a little more dysfunctional early in the year, because of all the movement, is now, you know, some of them are getting a little more solidified, and so it's going to get tougher. But I like being 12-1. And it's kind of an area I haven't been at very often, and I've had some good teams.
A couple more, Chris and Steven.
With the pace of that game, 30 assists on 36 buckets and 12 turnovers. That kind of, how does that speak to maybe the passing ability of this team and the vision that these guys have?
Well, I would think you guys, our fans, are all excited because, you know, it's, with me, it's defend, rebound, and run, you know, and all of a sudden we're becoming a better offensive team than a defensive team. But I really, really, really felt like both Jeremy and Denham pushed the ball really well. We got some easy looks. We got some buckets inside. I liked the way our break went, you know, and I didn't think, you know, we did as good a job in transition. Another thing that was hard for us, when you play a team that small, you know, they're going with 6'4", who started the game here for them. You know, if you look at it, they got a forward. They don't even have a center. And this Fagan kid, you know, that's who Coop had a guard. And he went around him a few times, but he's really a guard. And so that creates some problems for us. You know, we went smaller the second half, and I think that helped us some. But we didn't want to do that because we want to keep our normal rotation. We were forced into it. I still think one of the reasons is because Coop was sick. So
That was moving Jordan in for him there.
actually, we moved Cohen to the 4 so that we could handle their 4-man a little bit better. That was going around us. So.
Tom, right here, after practice the other day, Cam mentioned a meeting that you guys had, and we're talking about 11-1 at that time, and sort of trying to, I guess, asking guys to be honest about whether they thought that was possible. And he kind of joked about, like, it was hard to sort of be honest, but basically the point was that a lot of guys didn't see that coming necessarily. That being said, 12-1 now, could you just reflect on the non-conference season and where you think things are relative to what you thought, what you've liked, what you haven't, just the recap of this part of the schedule?
I hate to admit it, but every coach puts down probably its schedule, and he looks at the best case scenario and the worst case scenario. You know, my best case scenario probably would have been 11-2, or my best case scenario would have been 11-2. My worst case scenario would have probably been, you know, 9-4, 10-3. So I'm really excited on where we are. And I think we've played good enough against some good teams. We've sure played a lot of different teams. We've had our struggles with zones, and we don't struggle with zones anymore. Part of it because we're doing a better job of shooting the ball. Part of it because the coach did a little bit better job coaching it instead of not doing his job, as I told you after the Duke game. So, hey, we're all learning. We're all growing together. But 12-1 with the schedule we've played. And remember, this team, Colgate, I think is very good. I mean, I still think Oakland's a very good team. So we all want to look at the North Carolinas and Dukes, and rightfully so. But Iowa's a very good team, you know, and we're making progress. You know, it's getting 3 or 4 guys consistently to play well at the same time. I think we've got it in Jackson, Coop, Jeremy, and Cohen. I think we got a pretty solid 4 guys. And boy, we're getting a lot of play now out of Devine. We're getting more play out of Trey. We're getting more play out of Kerr. We're getting more play out of Jordan. And I think for the first time I saw a little bit more grit and, you know, not maybe I don't know, Cam went up and got a couple rebounds there. He was a man-child in there, and that's what we need. So, hey, everything's going in the right direction. Maybe we can call the season right now and celebrate, and got to play that damn 18-game schedule coming up, but it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. Last one, anybody else? Appreciate it, guys, and see some of you down there. And